Hello. Hello. Yay. Okay, I think it's working. This is excellent. Always makes me so happy to learn something new, like skills. So, yes. Welcome to some yoga with Janelle, our hip focus class for this evening. If you're just hitting the live button, rolling out your mat, maybe grabbing a couple of props, a pillow, a blanket, maybe anything you'd like that you could maybe work on, maybe a big book, big thick, maybe that Joy of Cooking book, if you know what I'm talking about, that real thick one is a great yoga prop. So if you're ready to get going, starting by settling in just to an easy seated position. So however you would normally just sit down on the ground, start to choose into that. So whether it's with the knee up or legs extended long, or just that cross-legged position, whatever it works best for you. So let's start by taking a couple of moments to settle into the breath. Let's start to just kind of focus inward, become aware of the body, become aware of the breath. Maybe aware not just how you're doing physically, but start to scan into the mental and emotional side of yourself as well, just taking some time to actually reflect on how you're doing today, how you're feeling as you're sitting. Can you start to maybe roll those shoulders back and down, find that length extending long through the crown of the head. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, that always helps draw the attention inwards as well as you scan through the body. But it's okay if somewhere feels really tight and tense. That's often like before you go in for a massage, what are we here to work on today? What needs some help? What are those shadow areas? And so taking a moment just to recognize them and build some awareness is really the first step in starting to be able to deal with them. Because if you don't know what you don't know. All right, so as you're scanning through, let's also start to deepen the breath. And so breathing more into the belly, sending the breath to fill the lungs, and slowly letting the exhale go. Seeing if you can not only deepen the breath, but also add a couple of counts onto the length of the inhale and the exhale. Maybe even notice the little pause that happens after that inhale breath. You breathe in, oh, there's a little pause, and then you exhale. And there's another little pause at the end of that exhale just before you take that inhale breath as well. So really breathing in, just the more that we can take these nice deep breaths, we're stimulating that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. We're already starting to calm the body. So let's go ahead and take 5 more of those nice deep breaths, breathing in. Feel how you get a little bit taller. Feel how the shoulders might rise on the inhale, and on the exhale, you let it all go. Yes, welcome to my yoga studio in my house. The phone's ring. That's fine. We'll just embrace it. I'm sure you might have distractions going on there as well. Great. Taking a couple more of those breaths. And if you like to set an intention for your practice, go ahead and set that now. What are you hoping to get out of our time together? I've tried to plan a little bit of a shorter class today, but I got pretty excited, so it might end up being a little bit longer as well. So what are you hoping? What's the purpose of this time? Excellent. Repeating that intention to yourself, really setting it in. And take one more nice full breath. And exhale, let it go. Excellent. Let's get ready for a little bit of movement now. You're starting to wiggle in the fingers, wiggling into those toes, rolling wrists and ankles, maybe even elbows. Excellent. Maybe drop your head to one side and the next. Roll the shoulders back a couple of times. Get some nice circles going. Excellent. And so I wanted to start today by bringing some awareness into our feet. I swear my hip classes will get to the hips, but the feet are super important. And so coming into a position almost like an all fours position, starting Let me make sure that maybe you can see my toes here. I like to just tuck my baby toe under as well. Sometimes he gets forgotten in these little toe stretches exercise. But if you need to keep your hands down here, that's totally an option. If you're able to start journeying the shoulders over the hips, then finding that length. Now I have lots of weight, my whole upper body weight is into my hips, into my ankles right here. So if that's too much for you, you can come up onto your knees or even lean forward and plant the hands. That's where that Joy of Cooking book would be real handy right about now, if not a yoga prop block. I'm just starting to get into that. Alright, so if you are able to even sit up a little bit, I want to get into the shoulders as well. And so if you're just here, you can maybe just do some nice cat-cow breath if you have the hands planted into the floor. And so rounding through the spine, and then dipping through the spine. But if you are able to come up a little bit more, reach those arms out nice and wide like a T, and get ready to give yourself a nice big hug just because we're self-isolating. It doesn't mean that we can't give ourselves a little bit of love. Let's lift through those elbows, and notice which elbow is on top, on bottom, just so that we'll need to switch them later. Excellent. So if this is good here, you can just really try to reach those fingers back and around. Feel that pull through the shoulders, and try to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Excellent. If you want more, you can bring forearms together, or even start to wrap. Bring the hands together. And coming into the full eagle arm variation. Whatever version you're in though, start to lift those elbows up. Excellent. Feel that stretch. And start to deepen. Just inhale. Look up. Maybe round through the back. Exhale. Pull through the shoulders. Taking that nice little cat-cow. Inhales up. And exhales down. Just gonna keep adding people in here. Excellent. Inhale up. And down to round. One more up. And down. Excellent. If you're feeling those feet, can you breathe into it, sending the breath there? Is it the yoga edge where it's a little bit uncomfortable, but you can still work with it? Or is it turning into pain? And then, of course, start to modify. Excellent. One more up. Come back to neutral. Let's release those arms. Reach out nice and wide. And exhale. Put hands in towards the mat. And slowly release the feet. Excellent. If you want, you can start to tap the tops of the feet into the floor. Somehow that magically helps release everything down. Great. I'm just trying to check for comments, and I've got a number of friend requests happening so people can join in on this. Alright, so let's bring the shoelace side of the toes down, pressing in a little bit to that. And then we're going to just start to adjust. So we're going to get this side of the foot too, still starting to stretch through the top of the foot and the ankle. Another good option is if you have a yoga block at home, even sitting on it, that'll help take some of the weight out of the feet if you still want to join in on the shoulder exercises. Alright, so let's bring those arms nice and wide and give yourself a hug. Let it feel a little awkward. So bring the opposite hand on top than you did before. Really start to get into that squeeze. And I did the same way, just out of habit. Excellent. Reach those fingertips back high and start to lift through those elbows. And let's connect with the breath here. And if you want, you can simply keep that squeeze here or journey towards linking the hand to the palm. Lift through those elbows, relax the shoulders, and inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, curl around. Inhale up. Exhales down. Excellent. And taking a couple of these. So again, if this is getting too sore on the feet, you can always release this bind here and come back to that cat-cow motion here. And so working on and doing 10 of them on this side as we move through. Excellent. Beautiful. Let's take a couple more. Working with your own pace and your own breath. I don't want to rush you through your 10. So move nice and slow. And feel the spine and the vertebrae starting to warm up. And feel that stretch and that resistance through the shoulder. And it starts to get a bit of a twist or a bit of a stretch. one more inhale, reach up, look up, really feel that stretch. And start to come back to neutral, shoulders over the hips. Reach those arms out, really stretch, squeeze those shoulder blades. And then drop the hands down. And then release the feet, maybe taking a couple of rolls through the ankle. Excellent. Maybe a nice couple flutter kicks. Great. And let's make our way back onto seated, extending the legs out in front. Beautiful, nice little staff pose here. So if your low back is really tight, you might actually even need to rest your hands back behind you. But if you can start to get into that core and get into those spine muscles, your postural muscles, and feeling into those sit bones, try to bring those shoulders a little bit more over the hips. And then find that length, so pressing into the sit bones, extending long through the crown of the head. Roll shoulders back and down, so not holding on to too much tension here. And make sure the feet, the toes are equal distance away from the body. And so they're not bending in or out. You're finding that power through the feet. You might even already start to feel this on the hamstrings. If those hamstrings or if those muscles under the knee are really starting to scream at you, just bring a gentle bend to the knee. Or even a full bend to the knee. Still trying to keep shoulders over hips. Excellent. So let's inhale, sweep those arms up. Roll shoulders back and down. Press into the sit bones. Reach the arms up a little bit more. Excellent. Bring the arms out to a T, palms pointing down. And then let's twist towards one side. We'll do both sides, so it doesn't matter. Reaching hands out. Adjusting the core. Excellent. Engaging through the core to feel that twist. And take a little glance at the feet. I always lose my feet when I go into a deep twist like this. So reset, extend through the heels, toes go up. And then keep rolling shoulder back, maybe even looking over the shoulder with the head, including the neck and the twist. Excellent. Exhale, release. And come back up, reach up. Exhale, twist towards the other side, palms go down. And squeeze through the core. Excellent. Check the feet. Hold here, full breath. Feel those hip flexors on the sides of the hips, really needing to engage to keep the body up. Beautiful. Exhale, release, reach up. The hands start center. Excellent. Let's bring the soles of the feet to touch. Coming into your version of cobbler or butterfly. Making your way up here, maybe even the soles of the feet coming down or just trying to open up. Coming into your variation. Excellent. Pressing down, feeling that stretch through the inner thighs. Maybe you need to grab onto the knees to anchor in a little bit more. Not throwing the ribs forward, but just finding that balance, that sweetness between the front body and the back body. Excellent. Now lift the heart and lead the heart forward, coming into a bit of a bow. And so whether you just come a millimeter, you can go ahead and stay here. Keep pressing into those legs. Keep them nice and active and press the feet together. I want nice active legs throughout this. And if you don't want to, of course, it's your own practice, but that's what I'm working for, is starting to activate into those inner thighs. And I love to cup my toes here. And then as I start to bow down a little bit more, maybe rest the elbows on the legs or on the knees. And if you're rounding for the spine, maybe you've come too deep, so loosen off, roll shoulders back and down, lift that heart, and then bow down some more. Nice. So coming into your preferred depth. And what works good for you, maybe finding that edge again. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you can still work with it. You're still feeling that growth, that strengthening, that lengthening, and starting to happen. And then can you relax? Can you take it easy? Can you soften through this posture? Maybe unclench the teeth. Remember to breathe. Maybe soften through that low back. And then on the next inhale, let's press up. Bring the shoulders back over the hips. Bring the knees together. And then roll back into a nice reclined position. Keeping the soles of the feet planted in towards those mats. The mat, roll those shoulders back and down. So feel all that surface area of the shoulder blades. Excellent. Slight tuck at the chin so you're not overarching through the neck. Find that length. Excellent. Trying to keep and maintain that. And then let's start to connect into the soles of the feet. Engage through the core, send the belly button to the spine, and press into the feet to lift the hips up. Feel that nice stretch through the shoulders, and then just become aware of the body, maybe even by physically glancing at the knees, making sure they're tracking over the feet, making sure they're not splaying out. Lots of times as we press into this to stabilize, we start to open up through the knees, but you'll actually find more strength and more power with a little bit of better alignment, keeping those femurs going into that hip socket at a more neutral angle. Excellent. Press hips come a little bit higher. I'm starting to feel the engagement of the glutes, of the quads, pressing firm, maybe squeezing the toes into the mat and extra into the heels. Come back to that nice neutral. Press the hips up. Maybe reach those fingertips down towards the heels. Keep holding. And then let's exhale, release nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time as we lower all the way down. Excellent. Every vertebrae now connects with the mat. Then let's bring that right ankle onto the left knee, coming into this nice reclined pigeon, reclined figure four. If you just want to hang out here, maybe shake the legs back and forth, and that's always an option. The more you send that right knee back, the more you might start to feel into the hip. If you're not feeling anything here, that's a good sign that you can start to go for more. So start to float that leg up, maybe reach on through. And the more you hug the legs in towards the chest, the more you'll start to feel that stretch on the body. And so maybe just starting nice and gentle. If you're holding on to tension through those shoulders, relax, release. And on that exhale, notice how the belly falls towards the body. And can you pull those legs maybe just a millimeter more into that? Excellent. Lots of people love to extend through the leg that you're holding here. If you want, you can do that. You can point and flex the foot. Maybe take a couple of rolls or even massage the back of the hamstrings. And every time I lift the leg, my legs always come farther away from the body, so I start to lose it in that hip that I was originally feeling it. So if that's what happened to you, just remember to give those legs a little pull towards the body and still relax through the shoulders. Excellent. Let's hold for one more full round of breath here. Inhaling and letting it go. Beautiful. Bring a bend back to that knee if you haven't done so already. And with control, no slingshotting of the legs here, start to release that foot back down. Uncross. Now let's get ready to set up on the other side. Bringing left ankle towards right knee, maybe playing around here, sending that knee back. Maybe just taking a little bit of a sway, a little motion. Excellent. And then if you're not feeling anything and you want some more, you can start to lift that leg up. Hugging that leg in towards the chest, feeling it on that left hip. Beautiful. Trying to stay relaxed through the arms and the shoulders as you just gently pull the legs in towards the body. Excellent. If you want more here, that's when you can start to extend that foot up. Maybe flex through the heel, point through the toes, and take a couple of circles one direction and the other. Remembering to hug that leg in. I'm still connecting with the breath here. So you might feel a bit of a squeeze through the abdominals, through that middle section of the body. This is also good for a little bit of gut health as well. Nice little rock from side to side. If you can, just do the stillness. Excellent. Let's take another full round of breath here. So breathing in. Let it go. Maybe hugging that leg in just a millimeter closer and bringing a bend back to the knee, releasing the leg with control, lowering it back down, uncross, maybe windshield wiper, dropping the knees from side to side to release through. Excellent. And coming to some stillness. For this next one, I love to tuck my hands underneath my sacrum, my sits bones area, that low back area here. It just helps my low back press into the mat a little bit more. We're coming into just a waterfall position, so even if you just bring the knees over the hips, this still counts as your waterfall. To go more into it, that's when you start to bring the ankles over the hips, and maybe even flex through the feet, so really active through that back line out of the body. And if you want, you can even hold on to the backs of the legs. That takes really any of the core work out of it. And so if you want to get into those hip flexors, into that core, lower those hands back down, maybe just pressing the palms in towards the mat. Excellent. Keep a slight tuck in the chin. It's really easy to overarch here. And if you notice that you're pushing the belly outwards to try to stabilize, try to bring the belly button towards that spine. So taking that quick exhale, to set everything up. And then let's start to walk on the ceiling. See, as we're staring up at it here, you can just take some little tiptoey steps here. We're getting into those hip flexors and starting to warm things up. Excellent. If you want more, you can start to take bigger motions, bigger steps. If you want more still, you can take ginormous ones. As you lower the legs down, you're engaging through that lower core. Or if you just want to keep it into the hip flexors, take itty bitty steps. Excellent. Keep going for 5 more breaths here. So inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in. Let it out. 3 more. Breathe in and out. Nice full breath. And release. Last one. Breathing in and let it go. Beautiful. At the end of that exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Just take a nice little rock from side to side. Beautiful. You might feel a little warmth on that one there after that. Excellent. Let's come to some stillness. And if you want, hang on to these or releasing, you can roll yourself up to a seated position. So coming back up to seated. Let's extend the legs nice and long. And one more time in that staff pose. Excellent. So I just want to bring some awareness to the feet here. I'm going to come back a little bit to make sure you can see my feet right off the screen. You can relax your hands back behind you. Just don't clench. You can still find that length. For me, that would be awesome. So let's bring awareness to not only the feet, but the whole line of the leg. And so we're really getting into this nice femur and femoral head here. Bring the toes to touch. So as you do that, maybe you float that right into your hip. You're getting a little internal rotation here. Excellent. So that's really easy. You can widen the legs, then come a little bit deeper. So this is a nice, gentle way to get some internal rotation, which we don't have tons of in yoga. We have lots of external rotation with our cobbler and our pigeons and all of that good stuff. But to get a little internal gets a little tricky. I do have another one for the end of class here. But we'll just start by bringing some awareness to some internal rotation. And then how does that feel on the knee? It should feel pretty neutral and good. Release, come back to neutral. Or to neutral, bring the legs back closer together. And then start to bring the feet outwards. Feel that external rotation. Excellent. Maybe you feel that lots. Maybe you don't feel that at all. For me, I hardly feel this one. But I've got super externally rotated hips. Or at least I like to think so. So I know there might be someone out there with more externally rotated hips than me, especially now that this is on the internet. But just playing around, becoming aware of that. Let's come back up to neutral. And let's come back in for that internal. So bring the toes together. Even if they just come like an inch or a millimeter, just bringing that awareness of how moving and the placement of your feet can impact all the way up into the hips. So thinking of that especially in your mountain pose, in your warriors, any of your standing positions. And if you've got really sore hips, it might actually have to do with your feet more than really anything else. Excellent. Let's come back to neutral. And then I've got an old favorite here for you. So if you want to keep your legs back behind you, but I really want to target into those hip flexors. Then so sitting up nice and tall, find the length from the head, and then start just to lift the leg up. You can lift and hold, or you can take a couple of little bounces. If you want more, you can start to bounce it in and out. Maybe even do a couple bounces, bringing it wider, and bouncing back in. You'll notice the weight of the leg here as you lift and trying to stay active through both of the legs. So getting huge into, probably a little bit into the quads, but also into those hip flexors. And you notice here, as I'm doing this, I'm starting to lean back more and more to try to stabilize. And can you do this by keeping shoulders over hips? So I'm going to go back just a one bounce. And bring my hands to prayer, and just to focus in on. Excellent. Beautiful. Try to get one more in on each side or on this side. Come back and give those knees a nice little shake. More windshield wiper to release. Great, let's come right into that other side. So I started to discover these. You can start just by lifting and back down, and you can add your little bounces in. So I discovered these because I wanted to get better. You know when you're standing, you grab onto your knee and you start to extend that leg. I just so struggled with that, and I couldn't keep my leg up at all. And so I was asking a fellow yoga teacher how I can start to strengthen into my hip flexors. And she mentioned this. And so now I try to do these all the time. And the higher up you bring your leg, the more intense they'll be. Excellent. All right, let's come back to that neutral. Release. Start to shake it out. Look, we haven't even gone to standing yet, and you might be sweating bullets already. No, we're not. Whatever. All right, let's roll over onto our all fours. Stacking hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Make sure the fingers go nice and wide. Really starting to stretch into that. Let's just take a couple of cat-cow breaths, lowering the belly down, looking up, press into those shoulders. Feel that nice stretch. Start to tuck the chin and round through the spine. Press into the hands. Next, let's take just a couple more here. Moving at your own pace, the exhales, or this nice angry cat, the inhales, look up. Excellent. Come to neutral. Excellent. And I wanted to play around a little bit with the legs and of course with the hips. This is really what we're going for here with our Happy Hips class. So I'm going to start with my right leg. You can start with either one. I'm going to extend it back and touch it into the mat here, just keeping it nice and relaxed and easy. I'm going to bring the knee towards the wrist and send it back. Knee to wrist and back. So I'm going to start to swing the leg. Then that nice motion, keeping it really low. Next, if you want more, you can start to bring the knee towards elbow. See how you have to really squeeze that knee a little bit more to bring it up a little bit higher. And if you want more still, you can bring knee towards shoulder. Keep trying to keep those hips balanced. It's really easy to do if you just simply open up through the hip. But if you're trying to keep the knee down, or as level as possible, that will really add more to the challenge. Squeeze through those abdominals, those hip flexors. Excellent. One more. Drop that knee back down. You can take a nice little sway to help release. Come back to neutral. Let's get ready to do the other side. So send that left foot back, touch it down into the mat. Nice and strong through both. Then let's start to swing that knee towards the left wrist. Then back. Excellent. We'll take 5 just towards the wrist. And then we'll increase the difficulty. Maybe going towards the elbow. You can always stay at the wrist too. It really doesn't matter to me. Just offering different variations for different skill levels. Excellent. If this standing knee is getting sore, that's when a blanket really helps. Or you can fold the mat over to add an extra layer of padding. Knee towards the shoulder. Excellent. Keep remembering to breathe. Moving through. Beautiful. Now I've got 5 more here. Dealer's choice. So whether you want to just go back to that nice and easy low drag, but really give her a go. I mean, you can go knee towards shoulder and extend the leg as well, if you really want to go crazy for it. Excellent. One more. Drop the knee. Take a nice sway from side to side. Maybe you want a little child's pose. Excellent. I don't know if you hear my knees cracking on the floor. Alright, come back to that stillness. And let's just play around with that one more time, just in a different way. Let's have the right foot back. Walk the left fingertips forward. And then keep the foot and the hand on the ground to start with. Let's bring some awareness to the body. Just like tuck the chin long through the crown of the neck, the crown of the head. Then let's sort of float that right foot up. Now see, without looking at the foot, if you can tell whether your foot is all the way down or whether you've got external rotation, or internal rotation. And try to bring it as neutral as possible. And take a quick glance at the toes. That wasn't bad for me today. I usually always have a little bit of external happening. Excellent. Extend long. And on the next exhale, let's engage through that core, that quick exhale breath. And reach left hand up. And feel that length. Feel that natural traction for the spine. Kick through the heel. Reach through the fingers. Beautiful. Keep holding one more full breath. And drop the left hand down, right knee down. Excellent. Let's come right into the other side. Sending the left toes back, torso down onto the mat. Reach right fingertips forward. Reaching and keeping the fingers on the mat. So let's float that left foot up. Excellent. Bring our awareness to the internal or external rotation. Maybe go back and forth a few times. And try to feel what neutral is. And then look down at the toes. And just reassess from there. Beautiful. Quick exhale to engage through the core. Reach hand up as well. Excellent. Slight tuck through the chin. Find that length. Reach tall and long. Kick through that heel. Keep holding. Excellent. One more breath. Drop hand. And drop knee. You can take that gentle sway from side to side. Excellent. So I'm going to come back to neutral and I'm going to start with my left foot. I'm going to just come up and come into a low lunge position. So my left foot is forward, right is back, but you can do whichever you want at home. That's just how my cues are going to go. Excellent. So I'm just resting my arms on my knee. If you want to make this easier, bring the distance of the knee and the ankle closer together. For more of a challenge, that's when you can add that length and really start to feel that stretch, probably through that right quad, and maybe even into that left hamstring. So you can sink into it, roll right hip forward, left hip back. Excellent. When you feel nice and sturdy, go on your feet and your knee, and we'll start to bring shoulders over hips. Roll shoulders back and down. Inhale, reach the hands up. Reach nice and tall. Can you sink a little lower? Send the hips forward. Still engaging through the core. If you're squeezing those glute muscles, trying to keep that stability, can you try to relax and release? Excellent. If you want more, you can look up. Or you can reach back behind you. Instagram says you should be able to reach your foot, so you can laugh at that. Maybe one day. For now, we'll just reach up. Excellent. Let's start to bring the hands towards heart center. Let's twist towards the left. We can simply just twist the body. Or if you want, you can reach right hand down, left hand up. Or putting the hand on that Joy cookie book or any big old book you might have. Still like sitting long through the crown of the head. Keep rolling right hip forward, left hip back. Excellent. Release. Framing the foot. Excellent. Bring both hands towards the inside of the foot, maybe even thumbs towards thumbs, fingers nice and wide, coming into your version of lizard pose. So whether you want to just simply stay up nice and high, or even up here, or even on a book or a couple of props, might feel really good and is what you need. This is lots through the hip here, lots of hip opening. Maybe you want to walk that foot a little bit more to the left to make room for those shoulders. My knees hug really close to my shoulder, but maybe you really like to open up through that knee to get lots of that opening happening. And then as you're ready, you can start to maybe walk the hands forward or even down onto forearms and feeling that variation. Excellent. One thing I've been playing around with is keeping my knee in and trying to walk my foot forward a little bit more, getting ready for more of that monkey posture. The forward splits. And so adjusting, working through there. Excellent. And if you want more from this right ham or quad here, that's when you can start to bend through the knee. So whether you just bend the knee, or you can come into any variation of the twist. So when you plant your right hand down, left hand goes around reaching for the foot. Or really, if you've never tried it the other way, that would be fun to play around with. Ooh, get a little hamstring cramp. Playing around. Bending through that. Alright, if you're on your forearms, it starts to journey back up onto hands. Maybe walking that foot back in towards a more neutral position. Excellent. And then just start to walk the hands back, straighten through the front leg, coming into that runner's stretch. So whether you want to bring the hands onto the hips, might be a little bit of balance. Let's flex the toes, bring them towards the body. And then if you want more, you can maybe bring your hands either onto the leg or onto the floor, or you can come into the half hero variation. It really doesn't change anything through the hamstring. You can get lots of stretch here by reaching for the toes, but the half hero will start to sit on the foot or even on to the mat. I'm doing the foot variation. So flexing those toes. If you're crumpling into the spine length through the spine, reach those fingers forward and connect with the breath. So 3 full breaths here. Giving yourself some time to sink into it. Building a bit of trust with your muscles. Excellent. One more full breath. Feeling that stretch through the hamstring. Trying not to hyperextend through the knee. Imagine lifting that kneecap. Excellent. Let's press into the hands if you're on the seated variation. And to come up, bring a bend for that knee. And come back into that low lunge. Wiggle the foot out. Bring the feet nice and wide. And push back. Take a nice child's pose. Knees can be nice and wide to release more through the hips. Or knees can come together to release more through that low back. Take 3 to 5 breaths here. Releasing, maybe coming back to that intention. Wiggling mine out. Letting it feel nice and good. Then from here, walk your fingers, maybe hand over hand, out towards the left. Let's get into the side body a little bit here. Finding the depth you'd like to work with. Feeling that stretch all the way through that right arm, right underarm, ribs, maybe all the way down to the head. Keep breathing. Can you soften, relax, release? Excellent. Start to come back towards neutral, maybe walking hand over hand. And then come over towards the other side, towards the right. Feel that nice stretch. Sink, melt into it. Stretching through the shoulders, through the ribs. Excellent. Come back towards neutral. Reach the hands out nice and long. Create that little bit of a pulling through the hand sensation. Stretch through the shoulders. Create a little bit of pushing sensation to see how that changes things. Excellent. Then slowly come up towards all fours and getting ready to do the other side. And so walking your hands maybe up slightly, bringing the right foot forward and coming into that low lunge on this side. Then adjusting the knee and the ankle, maybe grabbing the pillow for this side. We will be down here for a little bit. Excellent, sinking into it. If your knee is really far over your foot, that's a good sign that you can bring your back foot or your back knee a little bit farther away, adding more distance between the two. Keep rolling right hip back, left hip forward. Then as you're feeling stable in this stance, start to bring hands up onto the knee, shoulders over the hips. Keep rolling right hip back, left hip forward, sink into it. Let's bring those hands up, reach up. Excellent. Find the length through the crown of the head, engage through the core. Maybe you want to look up, engage through the neck, or reach back behind you, send the hips forward. Remembering to breathe. Excellent. One more full breath here, maybe sinking just a millimeter deeper, finding that edge. Beautiful. Let's start to reach back up. Bring the hands to heart center. And then twist towards the right or towards that front leg. Maybe simply twisting here. Maybe you want to hook elbow on the knee. Or reach left hand down, right hand up. Or even overhead. Or you can tuck that hand back behind. Wherever you are, sink into it. And feeling that twist. Excellent. Beautiful. Let's start to untwist. Bring that hand to the inside of the foot. Maybe walk that foot out towards the right a little bit to make room for those shoulders and come into your variation of lizard. Maybe you're high up on those fingertips, finding length through the crown of the head. Maybe your hands are down. Maybe you walk your hands forward. Maybe you come onto forearms. Maybe you come onto the side edge of that foot, letting the knee splay open. Whatever you are doing, try to keep rolling right hip backwards. Excellent. Beautiful. If you want more, you can start to bend through that back knee. Maybe you're reaching up and around with that right hand for the foot. Feeling it lots through that quad. One full breath here. Maybe trying it the other way. Excellent. I'm going to release my back leg. I'm going to play around with walking my right foot a little bit more forward, a little bit more of that monkey prep. Trying to keep my hips level here. So lots of times, the leg that's extended back, we start to dip into that. I'm really trying to keep my hips really square and level to the ground. Excellent. One nice full breath. With the knees out, and if you're down on forearms, start to come back up onto the hands. And start to bring that knee in a little bit more, framing through the foot. And then straighten through the front leg, coming into that nice runner stretch on this side. And so whether you're staying up nice and tall, roll right hip back. Or if you start to sink down and onto that foot, or even onto the mat, flexing through the toes, they come towards the body. You even reach down for the final leg for the crown of the head. Excellent. Beautiful, nice full breath. Excellent. Lifting through that kneecap. If you're hyperflexing through the knee, keeping your knee nice and safe. Excellent. Feeling that stretch. Ooh. And it's finally starting to let go. This feels awesome. Beautiful. Alright. If you're down in your half hero variation, let's start to work our way up, bending through that front knee. And plant the hands. And then maybe walk or swing the knee back around, push back. Maybe this time keeping your knees together. Take a nice little child's pose. Beautiful. Excellent. 3 full breaths here. Filling the lungs, letting go. Beautiful. Let's start to come up and come all the way over onto your front, lowering down. And bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Getting ready for our Sphinx pose. Staying nice and wide through those fingertips. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. And feel the pelvis pressing into the mat. If that low back is really tight, bring the feet a little bit wider. That'll help release any of that tension there. Excellent. Create a little bit of a pulling sensation. So you can pull into the hands and find some more length. Connect with the breath. Not holding any tension. If you're feeling any pinching in that low back, you might be up a little bit too high. So you can just walk your hands or your elbows a little bit farther. And that'll bring you a little bit closer towards the ground. And so adjusting as you might need to. And I really like this posture because it's a nice gentle back bend. And with the stacked joints of elbow and shoulder, and it's really quite a weightless kind of pose. You can even hold the head, make this more restorative. Sometimes maybe put a block there or a bolster under the ribs if I'm doing more of a restorative or yin class. But I want to play around a little bit more with this. So I'm going to start with my right side so you can see. I'm going to mix our cobra pose, which is our shoulders and our back bend here, with our little half frog. So I'm going to bring my right knee out towards the side. And even if it's just like this still counts. I'm going to wiggle that knee and towards the elbow. And I'm going to just think about leveling my hips. So lots of times we roll onto, for this side, the left hip. And can I start to lower that back down? And keeping maybe that 90 degrees of the knee and of the foot. But whatever works best for you, if you want that foot to be more in or more out. Listening to your body and trying to soften. So connecting with that breath. Exhale, an audible sigh, let it out. Holding here. Trying to still and control the mind. If you're starting to think of other things to do, can you soften? Can you focus in on the breath? Let it be your anchor. Excellent. Beautiful. And if you want more from this posture, as we will hold it for a couple more rounds of breath, you can add a shoulder stretch into that. So how I like to do that is the opposite knee, or opposite hand of the knee that is bent, start to reach it forward and tuck it, your other hand underneath. So now your elbow is a little bit more in front, and then bring elbow towards elbow, and then let the weight of the body press in. So I'm feeling this lots through my right shoulder as it's closer towards the body. Relaxing my head down, not trying to crumple through anything, but just have softness. And then we'll hold for 3 more breaths here. At the end of that 3rd breath, then start to uncross the arms if you're going for the shoulder stretch. Start to bring that right foot back down. And then let's lower down, stacking palm over palm, forehead resting on the palms to release the back bend. If you want, you can bend through the knees and a windshield wiper from side to side. That often feels really good to help release. And if the legs are still moving, bring them to some stillness. Lower them down. And then start to come back up into that Sphinx pose. Adjusting the elbows under the shoulders or a little bit farther forward as you need. 2 fingers are so nice and wide. Roll shoulders back and down. And soften through the pelvis. Feel that connection grounding from there. Excellent. Couple full breaths here. Let's move right into the half rug on this side. So bring left knee out. Having it come up towards left elbow. And then leveling through the hip. So really trying to soften through that left hip, having it melt in towards the mat. And if you notice that you're really squeezing your glutes really tight, you might have come a little bit too deep. That's a good sign. Can you start to relax and release? Glutes are huge muscles, so I do think we should be a little bit active in these postures. But if you're really squeezing onto them, that could be a sign that you're struggling in it. So keep finding that length. Create that little bit of a pull. See if you can find some more length through the crown of the head. Excellent. Then now let's move into our shoulder stretch on this side. So I'm walking my right hand forward, making that nice little peekaboo hole for my right hand, with my left hand to sneak underneath. And then doing a nice little crisscross. And resting the weight of my body in through that shoulder, feeling that stretch intensely through that left side. Or like gently intensely. I'm definitely noticing the stretch here. Really try to soften. Let's take 3 to 5 full rounds of breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue breathing. Let that be your anchor, your focal point. And at the end of that exhale, nice and slowly, and starting to release those arms. And send that foot back nice and long. Then lower down, stacking opposite palm on top. And release. Bring that gentle bend through the knees and windshield wiper, feet from side to side. Beautiful. So let's come to comes down, let's lower the feet back down. We've done a lot of back bending here, so let's counter that back bend motion. Coming back into a child's pose, so pressing hands under the shoulders. Lift yourself up. And you want to really accentuate and release that low back. Keep those knees together. See how my back is so super rounded, my knees being closed. And that's a great counter pose to all those back bends. But if you just really love that nice wide knee child pose, go ahead and take that. Notice here how my back is a lot more straight. This gets way more into those hips. So I'm going to move back. I'm even going to go and reach back for my heels as I relax my hip down. Beautiful. Countering that out. Excellent. Let's start to press into those hands. Then coming up. I'm going to come into a yogi squat. So I've done this from all fours, where you really just tuck. Let's see how many go here. And I tuck the toes under. I bring my feet nice and wide. And then I start to sit up back on my heels. See, this is why we prep for this. Here's our peak pose, if anyone is wondering. It's just a yogi squat today. And then I start to come up into my feet and give a nice little wiggle from side to side to adjust in. Bring my elbows to the inside of my knees. And if you're really rounding into this, sure, you can embrace that. It's a nice counter. Or let's try to find that length. Straighten through the back. Roll those shoulder blades back and down. If your heels need to pop up, that's totally just dependent on ankle flexion ability, a bit of anatomy. Excellent. Find that length and then press the inside. Really open up through those hips. So another external rotation of the hips in our yoga class. Can you relax and sink into it? So you can just be hanging out in your joints here. This should feel pretty relaxed and easy. If you wanted this to be more of a working pose, just come up an inch or two. Just try that. Feel how now your glutes are engaged, your core may be working, everything is working, or just sink down. Excellent. Beautiful. Keep holding here. Connect with that breath. Excellent. If you want more, you can start to reach those hands forward. Maybe even coming into the twist, reaching one hand up. I like to keep my other hand pressing into the floor and even into that leg for that little bit of resistance. Lower that hand down, come towards the other side. Lower down. Excellent. And then with control, I've got two ways out. So if you have to come to standing after this, start to press into those feet, start to come up, or just simply plant the hands and lower down one knee at a time. If you come up to standing, you take a nice little reach up and a forward fold, a little dangle, a little bit whatever you need to do to make your way into a seated position. So we're going to come into a pose I like to call deer legs. If you know the official yogi term for it, let me know. But I'm going to start on one hip, and I'm just going to stack knee over knee, ankle over ankle, hip over hip. I have my hand to support me, and then my top knee is going to connect with either the heel or the arch of that foot. So I'm working on getting 90 degrees of this front leg, and then connecting knee to foot, and maybe even 90 degrees for that back leg, or even bring that back foot in a little bit closer towards the sit bones. So I'll just adjust so that you can see me a little bit better. So if this is already excruciating, you can come down a little bit lower, or if you want more, you can start to press up, walk that hand in, and press that sit bone in towards the ground. Really trying to level and square those hips off. Excellent. Really trying to press in a little bit more. Can you soften, relax, release, and then find the length through the spine. Roll back and down. And if this is so easy for you, and you can bring hand towards the back knee and reach around for a twist. So I'm twisting towards my feet, maybe looking over that shoulder. Take a nice little counter twist towards the other side. Back towards neutral. Try and get those shoulders over those hips. Relaxing through those hip flexors. Excellent. Start to come out of it. So I'm just going to plant that hand back down. Move stack knee over knee. And then simply switch over to the other hip. So whether you're rolling over or swinging the legs to the other side. So I've got knee over knee, ankle over ankle. And then I'm bringing that top knee down to connect with the foot. So even if you're just working your way there, wherever you're at, then you need to be. Excellent. So adjusting that hand, maybe staying nice and low. And we're starting to walk up, starting to plant that sits bone in towards the mat, in towards the ground. So if you just adjust here. Beautiful. Let's take a couple of breaths. Excellent. Can you relax and soften and find length through the spine? That's like tuck the chin, sitting through that crown of the head. And let's come into that twist. So have both hands on respective knees. Let's switch, reaching back and twisting the shoulders towards the feet. Put the collarbone towards the feet. Yeah, squeezing through the middle. Maybe even looking over that shoulder. Excellent. So exhale, release. Right over to the other side for a nice little instant counter twist. Exhale and release. Let's start to climb this. So reaching that hand out, bringing knee over knee, and then start to come up. Let's come into our seated cobblers one more time, soles of the feet together. I just want to get one more forward fold in here. So if you have another forward fold variation that you love, where you even just want to be ankles over ankles, whatever works best for you and your body. So sit tall, exhale, bow forward, and then drop the head around through the spine. One more beautiful forward fold. Excellent. Press into those hands. Come on up. Bring knees together. And then recline onto your back. Plant the soles of the feet in towards the mat. Excellent. So I've got one more internal and external rotation of the hip for you here. So let's start with our internal rotation. So start to walk the feet nice and wide, maybe even to the edges of the mat. Let the knees fall inward. And so I've got some internal rotation of the hip happening as they fold in. Sometimes this can be a little harsh on the knee though, because their knees are just a hinge joint. They just like to go back and forth in one direction. And so there's a little bit of torque, a little bit of twist happening on the knee as well. That's why I showed the other variation earlier of just bringing legs long, toes together. So if your knees are really sensitive and you want some more internal rotations, you can always do this variation as well. Excellent. One more full breath here. Beautiful. Let's start to walk the feet back towards neutral and maybe even soles of the feet to touch. Let the knees open up. A nice reclined cobbler here. If you want, you can bring the hands on top of the legs, not to actively push into the legs. So just let the weight of the hands flow into the legs to help deepen. You might notice that there's an arch through the spine. And can you soften, roll the shoulders back and down. Excellent. One full round of breath here. Excellent. Maybe with helping hands, bring those knees back up. And hug the knees in towards the chest. Give a little roll from side to side here. And releasing through that spine. If you want more, let's reach through the knees for either the ankles, the feet, the great toe, or even just the backs of the knee. And start to bring the knees in towards the underarms, feet go up towards the ceiling. Or a nice little happy baby or awkward adult, whatever you want to call it. If you're arching through the neck, find that length, flatten through the back line of the neck. Excellent. So add a little resistance. So actively pull in towards the feet, kick in towards the hands. Feel how each vertebrae is pressing in towards the spine. Nice reset for the spine. Beautiful. And now this is the freestyle portion of my class. I always like to offer 5 to 10 breaths worth of time for you to play around with any motion or movement you'd like to. So if you're hoping there would be something else in this class today. If your body is craving anything, you can go ahead and take that movement now. Maybe you want a little shoulder stand or a little plow, or even just a little pentacle, bringing the arms and feet nice and wide. Maybe you want another bridge posture, or a recline twist, or a fallen tree. There's all sorts of things. Should nothing come to mind, when you're ready to settle into your final shavasana and you want a couple extra breaths worth of time for that, that is also an option. So exploring some movement. If you're doing something on one side, balance it out on the other. Excellent. And then start to settle into your final pose. Whatever you'd like that to be this evening. Maybe you want just the traditional corpse pose, reclined, arms alongside. Try to have palms open, roll shoulders back and down. Have that openness through the collarbone. If you really need that grounding, of course, palms can turn in, but try to keep the shoulders open. Knees can be bent, feet planted in to help neutralize that bend through the low back. I'm going to make my way up to see this so it doesn't look like I'm just sleeping on camera. As I guide you through a little bit of Shavasana or final meditation. So start to connect inward again. If you're comfortable, closing your eyes. And close through the eyes. Roll shoulders back and down. And start to soften and scan through the body. Maybe scanning from head to toe or toe to head. Relaxing and softening as you go. Maybe still notice areas that are tight or holding in tension. That's okay. We're still allowed to be those shadow spots within you. But can you use that breath, that exhale, that sigh, that let it go. And as you're scanning through the body, softening, feel like you're melting in towards your mat. Relaxing completely. The only task you have to do right now is notice the breath. And start to inhale nice and slow. Have a slight pause, then let it go. Take a couple more of those. See if you can take the full 15 deep inhale breaths. The most relaxing breath we can take is where your exhale is roughly twice as long as your inhale. And don't worry about adding a count to it, but just simply start to breathe nice and slow and try to elongate that exhale breath. Maybe even really restricting it, breathing out as slow as possible. I love to envision a little energy meter, just slowly exhaling out. Then inhaling and exhaling. And continue to breathe and enjoy this time. And I'll call you back in a moment to see if you can find some stillness, a sense of peace and quiet. And then I offer you a phrase by Bryant McGill saying, "Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. So relax." Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. So relax. One more time. Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. So relax. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, let it out. Take a moment to remember your intention from the beginning of class. Should you have set one? Maybe reflecting on your class. And perhaps setting an intention for the rest of your evening or your day. How do you want to live with purpose? How do you want to have intention for all the hours you live? Or simply just smiling at yourself, having a moment of self-gratitude. Take one more full breath. At the end of that exhale, start to wiggle into fingers and toes, and wrists and ankles. Maybe you want that nice good morning stretch, reaching arms up overhead, reaching nice and tall. If you're still reclined, or kicking into those toes, pointing them, and then relax, let it go. Maybe even hug your knees in towards your chest. If before coming up to seated, you like to roll on to your favorite side, taking a few breaths in fetal position, choose your side and roll for now. And then make your way slowly up to seated, seating in just a comfortable position. Shoulders maybe over hips, rolling shoulders back and down, lengthening all the way through the spine, through the crown of the head, that slight tap of the chin. And bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, take an audible breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. I thank you so much for letting me share my practice with you and letting me guide you in your practice. May the rest of your evening be filled with joy, and may you always be blessed. Namaste. Excellent. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this practice together. Feel free to leave me a comment, or if there's anything else you'd like to see in maybe the upcoming videos. I'll try to do one every evening at 7:30. So feel free to join me again tomorrow evening, where I will be doing kind of a yin yang, a little bit of movement, a little bit of restorative, little class for that. So thank you again. I'm Janelle, and have a lovely day. See you next time.